Live from Callaloo Studios in New York City, you are listening to Let's Take It Offline with your host, Kishshana Palmer.
Hey, Fab Crew. You're listening to Let's Take This Offline, the podcast for everyday leaders. Part inspiration, part sit down, let's have a conversation. Here's where you'll find the real deal about living well and leading well. I'm Kishshana Palmer, your host and resident leadership whiz. And now, let's take this offline. Don't forget to subscribe, download, and leave a comment so we can keep the conversation going. Dr. Cassandra Henriquez, b.k.a. Coach Kaz, founder of the Real Love Network and author of the bestseller Princess Zara's Birthday Tradition, teaches professional women who are super busy and driven how to have a happy and fulfilling love life. She has been featured in Women's Day, Essence, Fast Company, and others. And you can find her jamming to reggae and soca vibes with her husband Andy and daughter Ava. Make sure to follow her on social media to get the latest on how to live your best love life. All right, y'all. So I am hanging out today with my friend, Coach Kaz, and I could not be more excited to get this time with you. Hello, my friend.
Hello, beautiful. I'm so excited to be here from sunny South Florida. Woo-hoo!
First of all, stop showing off, okay? No one has time for this foolishness in your warm weather and you're outside in your lanais, okay?
I love it. I love it.
I have thought about relocating to South Florida at some point so that I can enjoy the wonderful weather and year-round sandals I could get to wear. That's all I got. So I wanted to have you on the podcast today because you and I get the chance to hang out on Tuesdays on your favorite app. Because for me, it's
Why has to be my favorite app, though? Why is it my favorite app?
Because for me, it's sort of like when you are like an older teenager and you get a little sibling and you know you're supposed to love them, but you kind of don't a little bit for a little while, so they get to grow on you. So I'm still in the growing on you portion of the program. I have not quite just folded them all in, but you and I hang out, and we are part of a panel of hosts for a weekly talk around relationships. And the other night we were hanging out, and I thought to myself, you know, one of the things that I don't think that I get the chance to talk enough about, because I know you are the expert in all these things, is about women and leadership and love and relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I read once, I would like to say it was a study, but I think it was just a blog post, that the more successful a woman becomes, and you know, for those of y'all listening, I don't know if you know, but I'm Black. Okay, I have to say that sometimes, guys, because people forget that as a Black woman, the more that I have achieved, air quotes, in my career, and the further along I get on the sort of success ladder, it feels like it becomes harder and harder to find love in relationships. But I know you would say, girl, that ain't it. That's not right.
Exactly.
So straight out the gate, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and then tell me, where did I get it twisted?
Let's take a long walk
around
the park.
Come on, after dark.
So let's go on a stroll. So my story is I was dating a guy that I thought was the one, right, Kishshana? We planned a future. We did business together. We talked about all the things. I knew that this was the guy for me, right?
Yes.
And I remember one Christmas Eve getting a call from a mutual friend. He said, "Are you sitting?" No. Merry Christmas. He's married, Cass. I was like, "What you mean? Who married?" Yeah. So my heart shattered. The guy that I was dating for almost 2 years was a whole married person.
A whole married man.
A whole married man. A whole one. So I had to unattach from that situation, and as a good Christian woman I am, and I had to keep it moving. But how many of us know that just because you leave physically doesn't mean that you leave mentally? And when I say that, I mean the guilt and the shame, right? And nobody was calling me to say how stupid I was, but I definitely was calling myself out every single day. How could you be so dumb? How could you be so stupid? And I was just beating myself up. And my defining moment came when I got like my 29th wedding invitation. You ever felt like everybody was getting married?
First of
everybody.
all, everybody. And I wasn't in nobody's wedding. I just want you to know. So none of my inner circle, it would be like the kids you grew up with at church for me, the ones who you thought you would have been in their wedding, but then you ain't either. You just got an invite, but you ain't in it. Nope, nothing.
Not in it.
Not in it. Not a one. Only been in two. That's it.
It didn't matter the age, the stage, the race, the weight, none of it, right? Like everybody was getting married. I said, okay, I'm cute. Like, why is this not working out for me? Yes. What? I don't understand. Like, I got my stuff together. And together. And I remember saying, okay, something's got to give here. Maybe I should invest in my love life. And then there was this tiny voice that said, but nobody does that. Look at Ellen. Look at Rashida. Look at Maria. They all got somebody. They didn't have to pay. Right. And I was like, okay, so where's this magic fairy dust? I went to Disney. I got magic fairy dust, but I just still didn't find love. Right. I didn't find love. I was at the castle. They sprinkled the dust. Like, all right, where's my prince?
That's it. Ow.
No, not at all. So I went home and I said, okay, let me really think about this. I've invested in my business. I've invested in my fitness. I've invested in my travel. I've invested in my closet. I've invested in colors that look good with my face. I've invested in my eyes. Like literally, I find new ways to invest in every aspect of my life. So why is this weird? Why is this any different?
Yes.
So I had to give myself pushback and say, you know what? I'm worth it. I'm worth it to uncover what the heck is going on with me when it comes to love, because I realized that my parents didn't teach me about how to have a healthy and awesome relationship. College didn't teach me. There was no courses. None. Even the Bible, I read the Bible daily, but there's no when to text verse 10, so
pick up the phone, Galatians chapter 3.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yes. So I became a student of love. I decided from that day forward, I would become a student of love. I read every book I could find, almost 100 books. I was breathing, eating, sleeping with books in my car, everywhere, right? I went to marriage conferences as a single person. Yes, as a single person.
Listen, I'm not hating on it because that's the way I get into the word. Okay, I have to be a student of the game. That's what it is.
That's it. I interviewed couples. I became a reporter, girl. I'm talking about I sought out couples who had been married for over 25 years, but actually still liked each other. Because the people around me,
they didn't like each other.
You know some people?
Yes. Okay.
Grumpy,
they together, but are they together? You say their name and they be giving each other the look like, huh? And
I'm
separate bedrooms, and not because he's snoring got sleep apnea either. Okay.
Right.
Just
don't like each other.
Just don't like each other.
Yeah. Straight up Bridgerton. Right. So really being able, to think about, all right, what is it that makes this work? Then I interviewed successful women that were successful in business and in love, because a part of me felt like you couldn't do the both of them at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right. So this entire journey plus some led me to my amazing husband that now we're happily married. We have a beautiful baby girl. And what I find the most with professional and successful women across the world, especially in the U.S., they're either in one of two lanes. One, they're so focused on business, on career, maybe the children they already have, on giving back, that they're like, you know what, love is going to come when it comes, but it hasn't, right? And then on the other side, the second lane is, I'm going to pray for my Boaz.
Yes.
Oh, my Boaz is coming. He is coming. He's going to drop down from the ceiling. Now, you know for a fact, you don't even open the door for the Amazon Prime guy since this pandemic started, right? So it's just like, hello. How is he supposed to find you? Osmosis? It's just not going to work. So literally, that's what's brought me to the world that I now have, I thrive in, I get excited about, and the lane that I have created to support professional women in their love journey, right? Because it really does start with self-love? Are you loving yourself? I realize that so many professional women, their calendars are so booked, they don't have time to breathe. So
Baby.
how is it that you are supposed to get on a date and talk about anything other than a spreadsheet and a to-do list, right?
I mean, first of all, and to keep it a whole,
Whole
hey,
100.
to keep it a whole 100. One, I'm in category. I'm in the first category. Okay, having dibbled and dabbled in the marriage land before. I'm in category A. You know what? When it comes to me, it's gonna come. But in the meantime, I'm gonna stay focused on my building my business, making sure my child is on her way to college, and I've created a roadway for her to be able to be who she wants to be. Giving back in my sorority and my community and so forth. And, love will come to me. That's me.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing that, you don't have to snatch my edges so close to the beginning of the conversation is that I literally was like, the other day I was talking to a friend and I was like, we pursue our education. We pursue the jobs we want, career with such fervor, but we are then like, I'm gonna just let it come how it comes. And it's easy if you're looking in a cis-love relationship to assign that to men. And there are men who do that with the like, I'm off energy and I'm gonna just see how it goes. Sit down. Also, we do the same. And how do I get myself out of my own way? Because the reality is this pandemic, I think for a lot of people really revealed in a different kind of way that calendar that you talked about, that's my calendar. I just want to say for the record, Cass. It was masking that some of us don't really like ourselves that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we have I would say, an opportunity to really sit with ourselves and then start to give ourselves the time and the space to get to know ourselves again, because we have been on this hamster wheel of busy for forever. So I love that you said that. Also, can you just, I have braids in. Can you just hold on to my edges just a little bit? Just, okay. All right. Just okay. No. All right. Continue.
Yeah, hilarious. So it really is. You got to take a look at where's the effort. So one is self-love, right? So the self-love, like if you're not loving on yourself, period, how are you supposed to love on anybody else? And I know it's cliche and self-love is like the key word and all the things. Yeah. But we really suck at it, right? At loving ourselves.
But no, seriously. What is the difference between self-love and self-maintenance?
It's together.
Oh,
it really is.
Okay.
It really is
I'm
together.
taking notes, friends.
Right?
Pull your pens out, friends.
I got a massage yesterday, and girl, I feel so much better. I came home. My husband's like, "Oh, you smiling so nice." I'm like, "Yeah, I got a massage." I sat on his lap. He's like, "Ooh, you so nice." I said, "Yeah, I got a massage." So this is what happens when mama feel nice.
That's it. When mama feel nice, you could feel nice. Hey.
Exactly. I have a client that is a realtor, but she also has a full-time job. So she starts her day at 6 a.m. and ends it at 9 p.m. So she's so exhausted that she doesn't have the room for friendships, for relationships, for any ships, right? She might have a Netflix ship for a moment, right? So when you look at that schedule, I can see why things aren't working out for you in terms of your relationship. You don't even spend time with yourself, by yourself, for yourself, right? And I don't mean for this to be like foo-foo, but it's just
no. But sometimes but we need a little foo-foo because everybody's always looking for a to-do list, a bullet, or just run it down. No, sit down. Okay, that's why I was like, get your pen and your paper, your crayons, get your digital pads, rewind this real quick, go back. There were already some nuggets. Let me just recap it for you. Okay, self-love and self-maintenance go hand in hand. And if you love on yourself, you have room to love on others. Ooh, oh my gosh, you really dropped the juice. Oh my goodness, I can't. We could quit today. And if you didn't get nothing else, y'all, you would get that. But no, but it's so much more nuanced than that. And in your practice, you work with women who we live for the nuance. Oh, I'm more complicated than that. But let me give you some context. And so how do we trip ourselves up in the context area of the program when we say italics, that we are looking for lasting love relationships?
Because half the time you're not.
Hey.
Right? Half the time you're not.
Talk nice
I'm
to
like,
me.
okay, if Idris mixed with what's that Wolverine man with the guy from Wolverine, I love him.
Ooh,
I don't remember his name,
I know who you're
but
talking about. Jack.
yeah, he a good.
Yes.
Yeah, him.
Him.
He's a good man. Him. So Idris mixed with him, mixed with the new guy from Bridgerton. So you put all of them together in one, and they show up and they say, I love you. Half the time, as professional women who are so driven, we won't even hear it, Kishshana. Right? We won't even hear it because we are so busy making up our own story in our heads of what they mean, what they're saying behind the words, and what they should have already said. And because it's not on our timeline in the way we would have said it, we dismiss it and let go of something perfectly amazing because we're busy tuning into a station in our minds and not in front of us.
I'm going to tell you to stop talking about me. Just get off my phone. But seriously, like that is true. Like, and our narrative comes quickly, right? Like, both from our lived experience to an extent, to the really off-tune chorus of our girlfriend group chats, and from our mental models plus. And because many of us have had to like have our nose to the grindstone around how we've had to build our careers, that narrative and our ability to build it so quickly has been able to drive us to that professional success. And if it worked in one area, I'm saying, Coach Cass, doesn't it work in the other area? You're saying no. You're saying delete. Backspace. You're saying no.
You really have to pay attention to your actions and if they're in line with your words. So in terms of the step 2 of how I support women, so it's self-love, then step 2 is attraction, right? So how do you attract what it is that you're looking for? I find that so many times we're really not clear of what we're looking for. You could tell me what you don't want, right? So let me tell you what Joey and Rashid did, okay? Let me tell you what I'm not going to go through.
What we not going to do.
Bill, what we're not going to do, because, Ted did this, so we are so keen into the triggers or the replays of what has happened to us before that we're not even paying attention to all the goodness that might be standing right in front of us, right? So a huge part of attraction is being clear. And then the second part is understanding how to choose what is right for us. I find that so many, like 99% of the women that I work with, they feel like their picker is broken. Like, what, Coach Cass, I thought that was the one. I don't understand why my marriage or why my relationship or why this thing didn't work out. I thought this was it or life. And it's just like, wait a second, how did you choose this person in the first place? Let's get back to that. And I'll tell you a story, right, Kishshana? I have a client, a VIP client. She's a lawyer in a law firm, a partner, right? So she's doing her thing. And every couple nights a week, she'd get a babysitter and she'd shimmy into a little black dress at the local plaza and go to dinner with a guy. And she'd always be scared of running into his sister or something in the bathroom. So she goes on this date. She goes on a date with 2 different guys. Guy number 1, she's like, oh my gosh, Coach Cass, this is what he said. Oh, your eyes are like pools. They're like the ocean, right? Because you're blue eyed. Oh, your hair is so silky and blonde. I love it. Oh my goodness. So excited, like Pepe Le Pew. Right? So then they end up having passionate sex on a bearskin rug. So she's all excited because all this hotness. Oh, hot. Oh, Coach Cass, yes, this is it. Like, can we keep dating, please? Can we just keep dating, please? Keep dating. So then she ends up going out on a date with guy number 2. Oh, Coach Cass, we moved tables 3 times. I don't know about this guy. I said, well, what happened? Well, the first time we sat by the bathroom. The second time we were by a loud table. And the third time, this person was smoking next to us. I said, it just sounds like he was just trying to be in a comfortable space to be able to connect with you. I said, did you have a good time? She said, yeah. I said, give him a chance. Go on another date. Okay. And so through the weed out process together, I'll tell you, she ended up choosing guy number 2. And she's now married and he accepts her kids and they're in a beautiful situation. And it's just beautiful. But she was so focused on the physical. And then she was so focused on also who would look good on her arm at a gala, right? That was also something that was in her mind. Like, oh, he has to be this, wear this apparent. I'm like, look, you don't really care about you. You care about sweatpants, thick chicken noodle soup. That's what you care about, right?
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, that's the stuff that matters. Like, look at it now, right? After a whole pandemic, where's the gala?
There's no
So
gala.
if you chose somebody just on being on your arm and y'all ain't going nowhere, that's not going to work out too well, right?
Not going to work out too well. But what if, but Coach Cass, listen, what if you've been dating a lot of medium uglies? I just have to say, like, what if you have actually not grabbed the rung of fine just one time? And fine could be a proxy for any number of qualities that we can think of. Do you feel like when you haven't had the thing that you think you want or that you do want, that it starts to eclipse the things that you need over time?
So I feel that you need connection. When it comes to looks and all the things and flat abs, I usually ask the person who's looking for flat abs if they have flat abs, right? So we really have to think about, and I've definitely dated medium ugly.
Yes,
definitely dated, something twice. Out of my comfort zone, belly, short, missing hair. I've done it all. Well, not done it all, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes. I feel like
I've dated several types of people, right? And I believe that attraction grows. When I first met my husband, I was not attracted to him.
Wait, but then how did he make it out the gate? If we're such visual creatures. He
was just a friend.
Back to that connection.
So we were just friends. She's just a friend. So we were friends and acquaintances, really, because we were both in network marketing, and we met at a conference in California with 15,000 people, and there was this glow around me. That's my story.
I mean, there is a glow around you, literally.
Yeah. And we kept in contact over the years, right? Network marketing, so you see them at different meetings or whatever. And we re-met at a friend's barbecue. Right? And we challenged each other on the Wii, and we're like, oh, that was fun. Maybe we should start talking on the phone. So we'd talk on the phone, and then we saw each other at a friend's event again. And he actually spent 30 minutes trying to help my mom look for like some stone on a phone or whatever. My mom's like, I like this guy. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And so maybe after 6 months, because I was actually dating somebody at the time, and when I told him, listen, it's done with the guy, he was like, oh, we should get something to eat. Iron sharpens iron. I'm like, okay, I'm hungry now.
He just kept toe dipping. He was like, hey,
yep.
I just keep putting my face in the window. Just so, no? All right, I'll be back.
He says it wasn't a date. I'm like, whatever. So yes, that was our first date, which was awesome, right? And that's really how the attraction grew. Our phone calls, our conversations, the first date, you know what I mean? And then over time, it's like, wow, this guy's pretty freaking awesome. So then now I'm like, yeah, like that's my guy. And for everybody listening, and for you too, Kishshana, I want you to think about, have you ever dated somebody that was fine, but then after a couple months, he wasn't fine no more because he kept messing up, the words out his mouth, his inconsistent actions, his dirty socks on the floor, his dirty house, his way he talked to his mama. Like when we start to look at all the things, fine people ain't fine after a while, right? So if we just base it on that, that's not going to work out. I really feel like it's so important, yes, to be attracted to the person that you're with, but it doesn't start, or it doesn't, don't lead with chemistry. And usually what I say is the LLC. So instead of, it's all business women listening in, right? So the LLC. So instead of leading with chemistry, we leave it for last. So the first L is love. The second L is logic. And the third C is chemistry, LLC. Love, logic, then chemistry. So with love, that means open your heart, be vulnerable, be who you are, be authentic, and see where that connection goes. Logic, then you look at the resume, his height requirements, the shoes, all the things we usually lead with. And then the last is the chemistry. Like, hey, do I feel a little something in his company. Because really and truly, when you have that intimacy of mind and spending quality time, like the chemistry grows, and that's where it's lasting. You know, I really believe most people make relationship and marriage decisions based on lust
Yes, they
versus
do.
love. You
Yes,
know, so
absolutely. And
yeah.
I've had so many conversations with girlfriends that have been like, well, I don't date somebody if they're not brown skin, or I don't date this person if they're not this tall, or I'm not dating this person if they're not. And they're like, Kishshana, you're much more flexible on your dating requirements. And I was like, ouch. But I mean, I kind of am. Like, I'm just like, body sizes and heights and skin colors and races. I want a good person, and I have other requirements that I think matter more to me. But my L was flipped out of order. So I'm leading with the logic, and I blame it on my daddy. It's funny. I had him on an episode, and I said, Daddy, part of the reason why I'm still single is because of you, because the man just set the bar very high. He's like, you will be both independent and also super soft. I will show up for everything you need me to do in life until you get a man, and when I will disappear. It just was a hilarious, like, whiplash of like how my dad tried to like make sure we were like prepared for life. And so that logic L for me was like capital L, and then the love part was like a lowercase L, and then the chemistry was like, what about me? And so like, just over there, and so you brought up a point earlier about the ways in which we tend to sort of X people out, and I have been wondering about like how online dating and dating digitally, and then now adding being at home most of the time, how that compounds our desire to opt out as opposed to opt in. And what I mean by that is that, I always feel like, and you just described this with your boo, that we meet folks out in the world doing things. And so if you meet somebody out at a conference, a convention, you're at the bar, at a hotel, on a plane, in the airport, wherever, you're more inclined to try to reach for something you have in common because you want to be able to keep the conversation going. That person does too. So you're trying to find some sort of like commonality. But when you're alone in your room, swiping right to your heart's content, you are trying to opt out. And so the ways in which they don't meet the criteria, or you don't have things in common, you're like, meh, and you keep swiping left. And so I think it's very hard, at least it is for me, and I wonder if it is for other folks, particularly career women who are so used to having to make decisions quickly, that it becomes hard to separate how to opt into things and how to opt out, so much so that we don't know what it looks like to really kind of opt in.
Yeah, and we discriminate. We're straight up discriminating on the apps, right? So it's like, nah, his nose looks kind of funny. Mm-mm.
That's not discernment. No.
I'd have to bring you all into HR if it's on the app. Like, no, that one eyeball is a little shifty, So
we do that.
We just think a little bit hard. It's making it too tough, right? So my whole thing is like, if he doesn't repulse you, swipe right. Let's see. Like if the core things are there, like religion, race, and I wanted to make up another R. I don't know. So and then like the
recreation.
There you go. Yeah, religion,
listen,
race, and
if somebody writes,
there we go.
Because listen, Coach Cass, if somebody writes in their profile that, my favorite thing to do in the world is I'm just a laid back dude trying to be home on the couch, I'd be like, oh my God, you're never going to plan anything ever. Swipe left. And so to your point about the narrative that we have started to create ahead of the conversation, I already started making decisions about who he is in the world, about how he shows up, about what he's about, from the word choice that he used. Maybe his lexicon did not include other words that would indicate, or maybe he just had a character limit in his description and that was keeping it simple, but I've already decided, like, right? I decided already. That was it. Oh, you don't want any drama? Let me tell you what's going to follow you like a wet blanket drama. So you just keep, and some of it is true and some of it's not true. Right. And so I think that, being able to rewrite that story is so hard. And so what have you found in your work and just in your life, being a good girlfriend and a good wife, a good mom, all the things that is the hardest for career-driven women and for leaders, women running their own companies or their divisions, who, have that title in front of their name that means that to a degree they both have to perform and they also have to be in that role in one area of their life. What do you find that has been most toughest for us to let go of, the death grip, the vice grip that we want to just keep holding on to?
Control.
What? What'd you say? Huh? Talk. Every time you talk soft to me, I know it's going to be...
Control.
Oh, okay.
Control. 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 That's the problem. You control everything in your life, but love cannot be controlled. So then instead of embracing it, you push it to the side since it is so unreasonable, since it is so unpredictable, since it can be a roller coaster. You're like, forget this. I can control my promotion. I can control my team. I can control my kids. I can control my ex. I can control my travel. I can control my agenda. I can control my social media. I can control this lipstick I put on. I can control my home improvement project. I can control it all but love. And so since love is not happening within the 3 weeks that I've been on this 3 apps, I am not doing them anymore because they do not work. So I will go back to controlling this remote as I watch Bridgerton and Shondaland.
Fourth time. Just want you to know. I watched the whole season 4 times. Okay, bye. I mean, maybe this is my story. This is my song, praising I don't know. Okay. You and I can do this all day long. Oh my gosh. My savior. And the savior that we are praising is control. Oh no. Shoot. So there's a couple things that I'm thinking of right now that stand out to me that I want folks to kind of just really wrestle with, and maybe you can help me unpack it a little bit. So earlier you talked about the fact that we are beholden to our schedule, and the schedule is so fierce that there's not even room in there for us to think about breathing. And so how do we navigate the schedule and the control? Because the schedule is the schedule, or is it? ? But I feel like they kind of go hand in hand because it allows us to keep doing the thing we've been doing and then being able to lament about the results because we don't feel like we have control over that maybe. So I'm wondering like how those two things go together in our pursuit to be in a space where we can be open to finding our love relationships.
So I want you to be relentless in seeking love as you are in your next promotion, as you are in your money, as you are in your vacation, as you are in getting your kids into the best school, as you are in finding the best tomatoes in the grocery store.
I'm serious about that. Look, and if you ever did feel a cantaloupe in the store, okay, if you know are ripe, okay,
right,
be focused. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
You gotta be focused. So when you start to think about all these other areas that we're relentless in, somehow with love, we're just like, oh, I swiped 3 times and everybody was creepy. So forget it. Love isn't for me this year. It's like, what are you talking about? If you really looked at it like that, if you were supposed to be hiring a new person on your team and you needed that position filled, do you just say, okay, I'm going to send out this one email to Indeed and, we'll see if that works out? No. Right? You are relentless in headhunting. You hire a headhunter. You're on all the websites. You ask a friend. You post it on LinkedIn. Like you are searching and seeking and soliciting help and even getting coaching yourself in terms of how to be the best leader. But somehow when it comes to love, why is this any different? It's not. Right? If it's not working out for you, hire some help. You know what I mean? So, period. There might be something that just needs to be tweaked. And essentially, that's why I exist. I really believe that women should be supported in their entire love journey. So the third part that I really support women and thriving in that relationship. So when you look at it, you see so many people out here, oh, I help you get a man, get a man, get a man, get a man. Okay, so now I got one. Now what?
It's
Right?
the now what?
Now,
It's the now what?
now what?
It's the now what?
What?
It's
What
the now
happens
what?
now? Right? Because that relationship can evaporate in 2 days. Oh, but I got a man. No, what happened? Where'd he go? And most of us, right, have had such horrible past when it comes to relationship. We don't know the first thing about being in a healthy, happy relationship, keeping that. Right? And sometimes I hear, well, Coach Cass, why do I need to learn? Because I'm talking to you. You're the one listening. Period. That's it. Period. You're listening right now. So then therefore, it's you. It's you.
So
It's you.
the thing that just bubbled up in my stomach, it was I had the bubble guts a little bit, y'all. Y'all didn't hear it, but it was happening. And I had such a good breakfast. I knew I was talking to you. So I just had to make sure I was on a full stomach because I knew you were going to snatch it one way or another. So the thing that I'm struggling with heavy is, so I had to do all this kind of work. Like for real? Like, so I got to go out and fish. I got to go out and find them. And then I got to be coy. And then I got to put on the things. And then you got to be the list of things that just, I started to run in my mind, look like movie credits at the bottom of a bad B movie. And I just want you to know, straight to DVD and before COVID. So, you know, it wasn't good before the pandemic times. Like, this is what came to my mind just now. So how do I get from that feeling in my stomach to pick up the phone and get help?
So that's the first thing, really. Like, why do it alone?
True.
Right? You could be there with the list of things, trying to fumble through it, and then maybe something happened, and you're like, oh, and then you call your girlfriends, and they go, oh, and it's just like, okay. I realized one of my clients in our Real Love Network, we have a whole community that we support women, professional women over 35, across the country, right? My eldest client is 68. And she even had a date last week. Hello. And what I find is so beautiful is being in a community of women that are focused on the same thing as you. So just like you would join a business group, like a BNI, just like you would join a travel group, just like you know, the interests that you have. So yes, you have friends that, you know, childhood friends, whatever. Sometimes it turns out they're not praying for the same thing as you, right? You find somebody, they may not be happy.
Listen,
low key
/ high key. Okay. Me. Like, right. Y'all ain't really that happy, just to be clear.
Yes, and then hating, and then giving horrible advice.
Oh my God!
What if you were in a space that you could gain great advice, and then other women who wanted to celebrate relationship? But what I love about my community is that I place women in a sister circle, and for some of the women, they're like, I want no new friends. I want to meet people. I don't like groups.
I'm not a girl's girl. Yes, you are. Right. You need a community of women to get it done. Pick a faith, any faith. Pick the love and light folks. Pick the yoga people. Anybody. And it's just so beautiful because then I have women say, listen, I found my wolf pack. You know what a wolf pack is? Yes.
Seriously. Yes. Like, these are like do or dies. Like, we're in this together. And it just makes my heart smile because what that shows me is that you're working on your relationship skills, right? Being able to meet someone new and forge a relationship and support them and hold them accountable. It's just beautiful to also have somebody care about you. Listen, I have friends from college and high school that I check on, but they're pretty crappy about checking in when stuff is hitting the fan or stuff is going on in my relationship. You don't share that with everybody. So what if you just had that tight crew of people that you could share like real stuff with, and they support you,
because
right?
they are about the same goal in a real way. Because let's keep it a whole 100. Cass, you know that lots of us are in WhatsApp University, in groups, in group me memberships, where we are getting loads of bad advice from our counterparts who say they want love, who say they want to be partnered or married, who say that they want to experience motherhood, but are not really doing the work. And the work is normally unseen. It's the behind the walls work. It's the wire work, right? of being able to actually move into the direction to position yourself, and in some cases to really go after it, depending on, because some folks are not going to let go of that way of being about how it's supposed to happen. And if you decide to remix the process, you're going to remix the results. I'm just going to say that out loud as someone who is a notorious remixer, and only in my last couple of years of business have I really started to go, well, if I paid for the coaching, I'm gonna just do the process. Like, that's what it is. If it doesn't work at the end of it, all right, well, I'll have results that I can see what I learned from it. But if I just go from the beginning and go, you know what, I understand that you have X amount of years of experience of doing this and you've helped X amount of people, and I've not done this anytime successfully, but let me tell you what I'm gonna do it my way. Cool. And that just doesn't work when you're looking for, and you want to have, one of the most important relationships that you are going to have in your adult life.
It's the truth.
So how do you think, before we wrap up, because you and I literally could talk all day, how do you feel, and how do you feel, so to sort of a 1A, 1B, that having healthy love relationships really impact our ability to be successful? Because we've put different markers on it, right? Like having the right car, having, air quotes, having the right house, having the right bag, having the stuff. But how do you think that like having a healthy, the right love relationship really adds to or helps us in our careers and makes us better leaders?
I believe that when love is in place, everything else falls into place. And the pandemic has shown us times 10 the things that really matter, right? So for those that bought the car to show off, the car is parked. For those that bought the house to show off, nobody's in the house, right? So when we really look at all the things, when we take the selfies on this yacht. Now, some people are still doing this foolishness, but out in these places outside of Mexico, doing all the travel just to be able to post a selfie. All that stuff doesn't matter right now. It's really the relationships that you have, that you grow on. Literally today, I attended another virtual funeral. I've attended 2 so far this year, and it's just like, wow, life is fleeting. The person that passed away today was 45.
Come on.
Right? So when we look at tomorrow, and if it's promised, what do we want them to say? She worked. Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
She's a great worker. She was a VP, a CEO that did some work. Work, right? So really, really looking back at life, what is it that really matters? It's the relationship. And I know for me, I've been more intentional about turning off the things to spend with those who matter, right? Turning off the things to spend with those who matter. And then for those who are like, listen, I'm alone in this world, you don't have to be. That is a choice. It's a choice. I don't care if you're introvert, an extrovert, something in between there. It's a choice. And yes, it's uncomfortable for everyone to forge new relationships, but it can happen.
Yes.
And you could be a part of a community to support you through it all. Yeah.
And listen, first of all, I'm just going, the only reason I didn't go and run and join it now is because you would hear my keys tapping on this recording. But I get the pleasure of being able to connect with you regularly. Yeah, I got the real bat phone, okay? But I think that for folks who are making a decision that where they are in their life, that they feel successful in so many areas, or even if they're growing into their success, but they just have not been able to find the healthy love relationships that I know and that you have just narrated will really help to bolster everything else. Where can they find you? What are you working on? How can we stay connected to you?
They could follow me on Instagram at Inspire Many. I'd appreciate that. Inspire is INSPIREMANY. And my website is inspiremany.com. But for those listening, I do have an Ace the Next Date checklist. So if you go to relationshipsforbusywomen.com, you could pick it up. Yeah.
I love that. Listen, Coach Cass, I could talk to you all day and all night, as you know. And I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with us today, for giving us the real deal, okay? Because sometimes folks won't tell us to get our lives together so that we can actually get our lives together the way we want to. And so you just did that for us today so eloquently, as you always do. And I just want to thank you so much for just always being willing to pour into me freely and into so many women, and just being so committed to making sure women get the best love relationships and lead that life that they really so desire and deserve. And so just want to thank you for hanging out with me today.
Yay! Thanks for having me, Kishshana.
Absolutely.
And I hope that everyone that listened in gained something. Much love.
Of course. Of course. All right. And on our next episode, we are going to keep the conversation going with healthy growth. Okay? I'm going to be talking to y'all about getting out of your own way. So what do you need to do? Hit that subscribe button, y'all, because I'll be talking to you real soon. Cass, why you had me out here trying to be putting on lipstick on a Saturday? Not near man, woman, or child.
Saturday, you better do a selfie in a mirror and update your dating profile.
Baby, listen, first of all, I did update my dating profile this morning. And I was tempted. It was too early, though. I couldn't sleep. And I was watching Bling Dynasty. And I said, I wonder if I should send Coach Cass this screenshot and see what she would say. Would she give me the eyes? Would I get a heart, an exclamation point? I wasn't quite sure what you might do. So I had let my brother create my dating profile for me because he's like, yeah, but sometimes you have to, when you let the gay guys do the stuff, I had to say to him one time, I was like, most heterosexual men don't care about the things you care about. Just saying. And he's like, they should. So we need to get a second opinion. He was like, get a second opinion and let me know how it goes.
You're on the RBO app?
Listen, okay, let's see. So the apps I'm on, hold please. I'm on the Bumbles. I was on Hinge for a moment. But I just swear, like, every Lilliputian whose mom told him he was special was showing up in my feed, and I just was not having the same success that some of my counterparts were. And then,
on Hinge?
Yeah. And then weirdly on Tinder, which I did not know because I was late to the party, that actually started as a hookup app. And so I was texting my best friend like, I really do not understand why these gentlemen go from hey sexy to what you want to do tonight, to what kind of things sexually please you. I was like, wow, have we really just skipped steps? And she was like, what app are you on? Tinder. She's like, ma'am, let me break it down for you what the apps actually do so you can understand.